What's going on, guys? It's the Bigs Podcast, episode number 134. And today we're going to break down the week that was in week 9. With me, as always, first from Denver, Colorado, Jason Ashby. Jason, how are you doing this evening, my friend?
I'm doing wonderful, Joe. It's another Monday, another week gone by. I can't believe that we've gone through 9 weeks already. I feel like it's kind of flown by all of a sudden. Still a lot to go, but it's been a wild ride so far.
It certainly has been a wild ride, my friend. You're looking up at the standings after the first third of the season. Got a lot to dig out from. We're going to talk about it here shortly. But joining us as well from right down the hallway is my best friend, my roommate, Ben Nisman. Benny, how you doing this evening, my friend?
Fantastic, Joe. Well said by Jason. It really has flown by. It really feels like I'm in the grind of a baseball season. And it was a really, really memorable week. So much to break down. And I will say that last week's part one show with you and I, Joe, was a very memorable one as well. It's something that's never happened before. It may never happen again. It's the only time ever, only episode ever, where in total, Joe had less hair on his face and head than his co host. So that's incredible as well. There's been so much going on, and everyone did an unbelievable job. So, as we said 8 times already, Joe, I will ask you once again, please set the table.
Let's get going, boys, and it's going to be time for week 9. Benji, it's one of those times every year you look forward to and sometimes you dread. It's the matchup you had with Frank Bucco this week. Uh, Coming into Sunday, it was 11-8 in your favor. It finishes 11-8. On Sunday, Frank led by 2 doubles and you tied that category. Frank led by 2 runs and you tied that category. You led by a walk and Frank took that category. Frank led by 2 ticks on the batting average and you took that category from him. On the pitching side, Frank led by a relief appearance, and of course, you took that from him. And Frank led by 79 ticks on the ERA. Looks like he held on to that one just roughly about the same. So again, 11-8 coming in, 11-8 going out. Close categories, Benji, you win by the 5 strikeouts, 11 ticks on the average, and 2 losses, 2 saves, a home run by a pitcher, and 3 relief appearances. Frank wins by the stolen base and the win. You guys tied in runs and doubles. Benji, on your bench this week, you went 3 for 17.
Nice. That's good. Um, be careful. 188.
176
Okay.
with a run, a homer, an RBI, a walk, and only the run plays. It was obviously the Carlos Santana pitch hit home run on the bench on, I think that's Thursday or Wednesday.
Friday. It was
Friday,
Friday.
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 It was
Friday.
absolutely Friday. I remember exactly where I was when I was just like, oh, I picked the wrong guy to bench that wasn't starting today. You know,
Mm-hmm.
it's
Mm-hmm.
it does bother me because I was thinking of it. I went with Grichuk. I was like, which guy is going to come into the game? And if he does, like a good chance. Like Grichuk, usually when he comes into the game, he's staying in the game a little bit longer. It's like it's going to typically maybe be a double or a single, but yeah, Santana off the bench with a bomb. Can't really see that one coming, but still kind of bothers me because I did consider it.
For your moves this week, you added Seth Martinez for Joey Wentz, added Birch Smith for Wandy Peralta, which was a waste as Birch Smith did not appear
Never.
for you.
No. No. When
You
in for
dropped.
the yeah, I just want to say I
Yep.
it was between him and Diekman on the day, and the right decision would have been Diekman. It doesn't end up playing anyway, but yeah, it was the one very few times where on the day I would pick the guy up and he didn't get he would not most of them got in that day. He did not.
Yeah.
I see. You dropped Eniel De Los Santos for Joe Mantiply, who gave you an earned run over 2/3 of an inning in a relief appearance. You dropped Birch Smith for Greg Weissert, clean relief appearance. Dropped Stephen Kolek for Nick Anderson, who gave you another clean relief appearance. You dropped Justin Lawrence, who hit the IL for Eric Miller. Joe Mantiply for Derek Law, who pitched an inning and 2/3 in relief. And dropped Nick Anderson for Jake Diekman, an inning, a strikeout, and relief appearance. But more on that guy later, because he kind of dicked you over a little bit there.
A little bit. Didn't end up affecting too much, though.
No. You dropped Greg Weissert for Jordan Leisure, who gave you another inning and a walk with a 150 whip and a relief appearance. You dropped Leisure for Sir Anthony Dominguez, who did not appear. Looks like all 10 were used. Your MVP this week, who is it, man?
It's got to be Soto.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
435 with a 500 on-base percentage, 7 runs, that's 2 triples, 3 homers, 9 RBIs, 4 walks, and 7 strikeouts. That is a ridiculous week from Juan Soto.
This guy's a cheat
Who's
code.
the least? Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
he kind of, it does change having him. Like, I almost knew, just like last year, right? I got him 10th overall. I'm pretty sure he ended up 10th. I was just like, my hands were in my head was in my hands because I was just like, I can't believe it. Like, I might have gotten the guy in 10th that will single-handedly bring me to the playoffs. And it just, I'm not saying I'm going to the playoffs this year. I'm saying he gets me very, very close. He's already helping so much already. He makes it so that less decisions are necessary because I know he's taking care of so much.
Yeah. No, it's great having that kind of superstar to anchor your team, and know that you're gonna, even on a bad week, you're still gonna get the walks, you're still gonna get runs scored, you're still gonna get at least a good on base percentage. Who was the least valuable hitter this week, Benji?
I'd have to say it's Brandon Nimmo.
Okay. 182 with a 250, though he did have a triple as well, 3 runs and a double. We're giving it to CJ Abrams, who had 182 with a 174 on base, 10 strikeouts.
Right. Yeah, 10 strikeouts is a lot considering he didn't even play Saturday or Sunday for me. So, and he had an error. But the error his one error didn't make the difference in that category. So like Nimmo, like 3 runs. I just needed 1 more from him or another double. Like that changes it. At least like Abrams got me a double in the 5 days to tie that category. So that's but I get it. All right, fair.
Yeah. Who's the Cy Young this week, buddy?
Ooh, wow. That one's tough because they were all pretty terrible. I guess it's Jack Flaherty.
Yeah, it is. 6 2/3 with a win, 9 strikeouts and a walk, nothing earned, and an 0.30 whip. The Cy Young, I mean, we've got a whole bunch listed here, but you could take
the bullpen. Yeah, the bullpen. It was
that's what they all have in common. Yeah, Ottavino, Diekman, and MacArthur. Diekman, a 1350 and a loss. MacArthur a 36. Ottavino a 1929 stock market crash and a loss.
Right. And he had actually more innings than any of those guys. Ottavino going 2 1/3 with all that garbage. He was awful. Awful.
Hey, very, very bad. For Frank on his bench this week, Benjamin, he goes a nice 4 for 16.
Good. At least that one's easy. Perfect quarter there, 250.
Yes, sir. With 3 runs.
I just dropped my coaster, by the way. I'm sorry. The coaster's stuck to the bottom of the cup when I picked up the cup, and then it just went, which is better than the cup tipping over filled with water, but that's just what happened right here. Now I know for the next time I got to hold down the coaster every single time. I'm going to have to use both hands to pick up the cup, guys.
Otherwise, you have a roller coaster.
Very nice.
2 hands.
The pun master there.
Good fundies, dude. Good fundies. Use 2 hands.
Good pundies. And good pundies and good fundies.
Yes, sir. All right, so Frank has a 250 batting average, 3 runs, a double, a walk, and 2 strikeouts. It all comes on one play on Tuesday. we could take a look and find out exactly what that play was, because it was a double and a run scored on that day.
Brendan Donovan.
For Brendan Donovan, whom he traded for, sits on the bench.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yep.
I tough to
Two
get
stats.
in.
I guess the
Yeah.
play is for the play is Vinny P, who he also traded for. I mean,
Yeah.
look, half the team is guys he traded for. So
Right. But I mean, you're right. It's hard to get him in, but he could have got him in, and that's two
Yep.
stats right there that I just dodged
Exactly.
with that. So that's huge.
Yeah.
No doubt. No doubt. His moves this week. Obviously, we have the trade for Randy Arozarena, sending away Justin Steele and Ian Happ. Thoughts on that trade, Benjamin?
Yeah. It's really interesting that he actually flipped after, it's I don't know. It's hard to I don't hate it. I don't hate it. The only thing I dislike about it is that that's it. He's done. No more trades.
Yeah.
Before the end of May. Before the end of May.
Memorial Day.
Yeah.
It was Memorial Day.
It's incredible. It's just incredible, and he'll regret it. He might not personally regret it, and he certainly doesn't right now. But at some point, there would have been someone available, and he certainly would have had the piece, and maybe it would have been the right piece to put him in the right direction to go on a run, because it's not too late, But he's very much kind of handicapped himself at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm curious how Jason and you feel about this, because I was stunned. And it was interesting that it was Jay Ferraro, and there's more reasons to that, but that was just it was fascinating.
Well, so Frank is out of trades, and so is Jay Ferraro. That Jay is done too, which I find interesting too. But and look, I'm sitting here with one left myself, and I came close a couple times over the last several days, week and a week and a half of using that last trade. But I've been holding off for exactly the reason you just said, because if I'm going to use this last trade, it needs to count for something. It can't just be a role player guy. Like, it's gonna have to be something that's gonna help carry me to something, or something useful. So, it's like almost like a lottery ticket at this point.
I told Frank that I was disappointed that the trade deadline is not going to include him this year, because he's out of trades, and we're not gonna hear about what Frank's got to get at the deadline, or how he's going to flip something in a 3-team trade. I'm disappointed about that.
Mm-hmm. What do you two, because we haven't talked about this, what do you two think of the actual players themselves that were traded? Because we haven't brought that up.
In this specific trade?
Yes. Go ahead, Jason.
I don't. It's tough. It's tough because Arozarena has been just absolutely god awful. And I knew it from even in the wintertime, like in the offseason. Like, this guy has always had the talent, and he burst onto the scene in that postseason in, what was it, in 2020 or 2021, whatever it was. Mm-hmm. And he's never really taken off. He's had some 2020 seasons, 20 homers, 20 steals, but he's never been that superstar that everybody's making him out to be. He's never had a great season. And here we are, he's batting under 200, and he's looking like a minor leaguer at this point. So I think, holding on to a guy like Justin Steele, who at least we've seen him have a good season playing, being the ace for a good Cubs team. I don't know. I don't know if I would have made this trade.
I have no idea why you would pay 2 players for a guy hitting 160 something.
Yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. And you held on to Justin Steele through this entire injury, and then you let him go? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't think it betters the team. Mm-hmm. I actually think Ian Happ for Randy Arozarena is like
A little closer.
a little. It's fine. Like those two
Yeah.
would be fine
Why
if you
bother?
need somebody. Yeah, but why add an ace pitcher and Justin Steele to the mix as well?
And the thing is, like, again, like you're right. He just got back from injury. You hang on to him for another few weeks, let him build up some
Right,
innings,
yeah.
let him showcase himself. You can get a much better deal for a guy like that if he's pitching
Yes.
the way that he's supposed to. You can get a much
Yes.
bigger return.
Yeah,
Yeah.
figuring that he is healthy now, the fear is, oh, maybe something else goes that might hurt him because it was his leg, if I don't recall, like if I recall correctly, that maybe it's like a shoulder or whatever. That's the risk. Maybe you take the get him off your team before something else happens. But you hit the nail on the head, Jason, because chances are pitching beats hitting most of the time. He's going to trend up and down. And at that point, maybe by the deadline or close to it, a much better payoff when you actually do trade him. Well said.
Yep. He added Ryan O'Hearn, who went 2 for 5 with a run scored. He dropped Colton Cowser for Hayden Wisniewski, who gave him a clean relief appearance. Dropped Justin Martinez for Geraldo Perdomo, who's on the IL. Not sure where that guy plugs into the lineup, but we'll see. He dropped Ryan O'Hearn for Bryce Wilson, 4 innings, 675 and a 2 against Chicago. Dropped Patrick Bailey for Connor Wong, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. Dropped Bryce Wilson, Carlos Hernandez, and Jacob Barnes for Ryan O'Hearn, 0 for 4 with a strikeout, and Alex Kirilloff, 0 for 1 with an RBI and a strikeout. He dropped Connor Wong for Travis d'Arnaud, 0 for 4 with a run and a walk, and then dropped Kirilloff for Anthony Bonda, who did not appear, and dropped Ryan O'Hearn for Josh Stamon, who did not appear. The MVP this week is Vinny Pasquantino. So I guess it's hard to take that guy out of the lineup if he was doing that well. 391. Yeah, 391 with a 375, 3 runs, 2 doubles, 2 homers, 8 RBIs, and 4 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, is it Shohei or is it Ryan McMahon?
Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. I mean, Shohei was awful against the Mets until that last at bat when he hit that bomb. Otherwise, he had a really bad week. But
yeah,
it's Shohei, so I don't know. Can he be the least valuable hitter?
Well, yeah. I mean, it's either him or a guy that he picked up from me dropping him. So that's good. Like that's a relief that a guy that had started to heat up once I dropped him. I didn't have a spot for Ryan McMahon at the time because I had Muncy and Arenado. It's kind of hard to get him into the lineup. I could play him at second, but when you have a rise and say it was just he struck out way too much for me. He just strikes out a lot. So I was just like, okay, I really don't. It's nice to have a guy like that plays in Colorado, but how many times have you been on the end? And I know there's countless times of things in playoffs and like important weeks where you'll find somebody that somebody dropped comes back to bite them when they face them during the week. So this is one example where it actually did it. If anything, maybe getting him over to Frank's team actually saved me. Maybe it actually would have been worse. So because Frank would have had somebody else instead.
Yeah, no doubt. And maybe it's somebody like Ellie De La Cruz who's still on the team because he needs him playing third base. I'm just spitballing here. But for the stats, it's Ryan McMahon with a 190 and a 320 on base, 9 strikeouts, 2 runs, 2 RBIs, and 3 walks. The Cy Young this week, no doubles. Shohei didn't have a double either, though he had a steal, which one of 2 to win the category.
Yeah. That one won it. So yeah, I would definitely say Shohei then is not the least valuable player. We give it to McMahon there.
Okay. The Cy Young goes to Tanner Houck, 7 innings, a win, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 1.29 and an 0.71.
Nice. That's a guy you traded for, right, Jason?
Yeah, it was. Thanks, Ben.
This Cy Young goes to Charlie Morton. That's a guy he drafted, 5 2/3, a loss, a homer, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, a 12.71 and a 2.47. Would have been better if he starts him on Sunday, but he had him on the bench that day. Well,
Yeah.
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 He was,
Well,
I mean, he walked 5 on Sunday, but otherwise he
yeah,
6 shutout
but
innings.
yeah, but he, as you can see, he lost walks 27-9. He had 3 times as many walks as I
Yeah.
did. So
yeah.
that really would have
Right. Exactly.
it,
Exactly.
it it wouldn't have changed anything. He didn't want to risk giving up that bomb when I was playing in all of my relievers and I was up by 2 bombs given up, and I got very close to losing that category because of Jake Diekman. Got very lucky. The rest of the bullpen didn't. So, I thought when you said the amount of innings for Morton, you said 5. I thought you were going to say he's owned him for like the last 5 years, like 5.
He might have.
He may
I
have.
know.
He may have. It wouldn't surprise me.
Doesn't it seem like he's owned him that long?
I mean, I know the only trade that I can remember Ari Nisman being a part of was with Frank, and Frank sent him Charlie Morton, and I think he got back Yandy Diaz.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep. Let's move on to the next matchup here,
We're not going to
Benjamin.
break down this match. Hold on.
All right, talk about it. What you got? What you
I mean,
got?
this is a big thing. Listen, Frank has had an extremely tough week off the field, and
Yes.
I mean, this was an emotional week in so many ways, and this is one of those times where if Frank had won the week, it would have been nice. And he wanted me to try my ass off, obviously, and you can tell by the amount of ads, like he's so dedicated. He loves this league so much,
Mm-hmm.
and this would have actually tied us for our all-time matchup against each other. He was right there. He had won the last 2 years, but now he's going to have to wait 2 more years just to tie me. But he's an amazing manager. When I tell you that he loves the Bigs so much, he he lives and breathes this league. He's your number one fanatic for the Bigs. I would tell you that over 90% of the dialogue that he has with me, who's a very close friend of his, and we talk about so many things, it's this league. Even more than, baseball itself, it's this league. So we all owe a lot to Frank as far as what he does for this league. In week 22, when he's out of it, he's grinding his ass off. And whether he's fighting for a playoff spot or he's 16th or 13th or whatever, or if it's a consolation bracket that means nothing, you need a guy in that league. You need an anchor. You need a great guy with a great heart. So it was an honor to play Frank. It always is, and we'll dance again next year. But I love Frank, and I know it's been a rough year for him, but it is still early enough that a run is still possible, regardless of the fact that he's out of trades. Anything is possible in this league. I was up 15-3 on Friday, and he was leading by the end of it. He had a lead in this week, late in the week, 11-9 at a certain point Saturday. So, with that being said, that's what I create. That's the not just the community, the guys, but also the fact that you could be up big on Friday or Saturday, but if the stats are close, the score doesn't matter. And Frank and I always joke around because he gets so antsy about the score on Tuesday, even Wednesday, right? And it just doesn't. You can't look at it because it really doesn't matter until Sunday when you know what you're playing for. There's so much just continues to fluctuate through the week. So I could have a 16-4 lead on Wednesday, and then I could be losing 16-4 by Thursday. And that's the beautiful thing about the statistics of this league. The fact that we have more than our 5x5, but there's no overlap. Like, because you're winning average, that does not mean that you win on base percentage. because you're winning on base percentage and walks, you're not necessarily winning average. Little things like that. You can win wins and innings, but lose strikeouts and ERA, right? So it's something that I'm pretty proud of. That even at the ripe age of 19 when I started doing this and I was a commissioner for the first time, that I could figure what could overlap. And of course, there's been gradual changes throughout, and years have passed and things have been kind of adjusted, and all adjustments feel like they've been for the good. It's just special when you have that kind of a matchup where things go back and forth and there's emotion and there's heart and there's strategy, and it all comes together, and the ending is 11-8, but you could argue that he could have won 11-8, and that's what's incredible about the league. So I just wanted to go into a little rant about that, because it was a special, and that's why I said in the beginning of the show, this was a memorable week.
No doubt. This was a pretty memorable week, Frank. We had some rough moments there off the field this week for him. Our hearts go out to you. We love you, big guy. We appreciate everything you do here. Much love.
Love you, Frank.
Let's now move on to the next matchup here. Let's talk about Jason taking another fairly sizable loss. It's a 13-8 loss this week. Jason, how you feeling after this one, my friend?
Not great. It's funny looking at the standings, like me and Frank and Lebo are kind of like lumped together in this group of guys who, like, I feel like, we're disappointing. And so yeah, I feel like we're like a band of misfits almost, or something like that. It was a tough matchup. Henry was a real tough customer. I give him a lot of credit. I play as well as I could with everything going on. You talked about it. Look, Ben mentioned it. I won walks. I did not win on base percentage. So there's living proof of what you just said, Ben. So, yeah, but there's still lots of time left. I have this one trade that I'm hanging on to, so we'll see what happens. We still got plenty of weeks left.
Plenty of time to go, plenty of change to be made, I could imagine, on that team, but we shall see. It was 13-8 going in, 13-8 coming out in Henry's favor. No changes on Sunday. Everything sort of just stayed status quo. So, Jason, close categories. You win by the triple, the home run, 3 home runs, 2 stolen bases, 2 2/3 innings, and 2 strikeouts by a pitcher. Henry wins by 2 runs, 4 RBIs, 3 errors, a 1 tick on the on-base percentage, a win, 2 walks, and 3 relief appearances. You guys did not tie in anything. For Henry on his bench this week, Benjamin, he goes 13 for 57.
Wow. Thanks. Jeez. It's 2 prime numbers, guys. Give me a break.
It's tremendous.
252.
228. 5 runs, a double, 3 RBIs, a steal, 4 walks, 18 strikeouts, and an error. And doesn't look like any of that plays.
Nice.
None of it plays. Very nice.
The 18 strikeouts, I guess.
I suppose. I suppose he would have had to be perfect.
Right.
He would tie you.
Yeah, and not only that, you switch that out, the guy that he played might have had a strikeout also.
Right.
Yeah.
It's pretty impossible.
His moves this week, only 3 of them this week. He adds Robert Gasser, 6 innings, nothing earned against Chicago for Martin Perez. He then adds Ben Brown, 7 innings, 2 walks, 10 strikeouts, nothing earned, an 0.29 whip in Milwaukee. Ben, we were watching this game. This is the kid who had the no-hitter through like 7 for Chicago.
Right. Yeah, and guess who owned this guy at one point?
You did?
Really?
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. But like they've been throwing him around like Jobber Chamberlain, where some days he's in the rotation, some days he's in the bullpen. So it's like I don't know what to do with this guy. So he was a loose end until
Gotcha.
Kyle Hendricks decided he can't pitch anymore. So now he's in the rotation.
Oh, Kyle Hendricks can't pitch anymore?
He's in the bullpen, but like he's just garbage.
I
So
see.
Ben Brown is in.
All right. He also added Leody Taveras for Richie Palacios. He went 1 for 3 with a walk. His MVP this week is Johan Rojas. What?
Yeah, because of Sunday.
What did
Because
he do on Sunday?
he single-handedly flipped on base percentage on Sunday. I knew I had nobody in the Sunday night game. I was looking on the waiver wire. There was nobody that I felt comfortable with. I could have gone with like a Dylan Carlson or Ivan Herrera, but like there was nobody that looked good to me going into Sunday night game. So I was like, I'll just leave it, and hopefully Edmundo Sosa and Rojas do nothing, and on base percentage stays the same. No, Rojas, what did he do? He had goes a 1 for 3 with a run in RBI, and that flips on base percentage. So that's why I gave it to him.
I thought that he had the lead on base percentage going into the Sunday night game, though. Is that not true?
No, I was leading it. I'm pretty sure I was leading it.
No, Henry did have the lead in on base percentage.
Or
However,
maybe
you
okay,
probably overtook him and had it at that point.
okay, maybe that was what it was. Okay,
And then he takes it back here
yeah,
with
yes,
Rojas.
yes.
Yeah.
Plus, he had 444 for the week, so it's not like he.
Yeah.
Right. Now that's correct. Then I get it. But not just for Sunday, because you could argue he's taking a major risk playing Rojas in that game. You know, if anything, he totally could have gone 0 for 4, and that's it. You know, you take that stat. I mean, I spoke to Frank after, and I asked him, why was there a reason going in? It didn't look like you had anything to gain. And he confessed that that was a mistake, that probably should have benched him, and that was a major risk. So that's why it kind of, like, when you said that, I was a little bit surprised. Like, yeah, he had a good week, but not because of Sunday, because he shouldn't even be playing that game for Henry.
Profar also had a good week, so he probably should be the MVP. But I was just bitter.
Dude,
I can understand that.
and Profar is having a great season so far. 380 this week, 381 with a 462. 2 runs, a homer, 6 RBIs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts for Jurickson and Profar on the season. I guess they just decided, like, hey, listen, we don't have Juan Soto anymore, so can you just be Juan Soto? And he's like, okay, 325 average, 8 homers, 38 RBIs, like.
Yeah. And this was a guy I remember talking on a previous show about how Mike Haber had sniped him from me moments before I was going to grab him. I wonder if this guy would have stayed on my team, where I was like, I just can't drop him. He's just too good. He's too important. And the whole outlook of my team is completely different, as is Henry, because I don't think Profar is going anywhere now. I think he's probably staying on his team, just like last year, where Henry really, really enjoyed a good season from Profar. And yeah, Joe, I mean, if it's not Soto, it's now Profar taking that next step, which MLB believed he was. He was the #1 prospect in the game at one point. But if you don't have Soto, you can replace it with a guy's improvement, not to mention Luis Ariz, who, since he got over there, he's helped a lot. So those 2 guys, Profar and Ariz, have really they supplanted themselves in those positions now to kind of take some of those other hitters like a Campusano or Machado, the ease off of them, and now that lineup is just so much deeper.
No doubt. Speaking of deep lineups, Henry is rolling with a pretty deep bench here lately. Max Kepler is the least valuable hitter this week, 111 with a 158, 3 runs, an RBI, and 4 strikeouts. Just not a good week to be Max Kepler. Bet you're feeling good about that trade, huh, Benji?
Well, I don't feel like good. I don't want it to be the situation where it's like, whoops, I didn't mean to do that. The guy was on an unbelievable hitting streak when I traded him. And it was the goal was for me to find a way to get Kershaw for someone that I didn't really have a spot for because he wasn't in the plans. But just because Kepler's hit a cold spell now, that doesn't mean that he can't heat up again. I mean, obviously, he's proven he's a pretty damn good hitter. So it it's going to be tough for Henry to shuffle all these pieces now because now he has somewhat deeper commitments to a couple of these guys. And like you said, he plays with a kind of big bench.
Yeah. Yes, he is. His Cy Young this week, we're going to give it to Clay Holmes for his 2 saves and 4 relief appearances, nothing earned in a 180 whip, 3 1/3 innings. And for his Cy Yuck, he didn't really have one. I mean, let's be honest. He pitched to a 2.08 ERA and an
And
0.83 whip.
And that 208 was sub 1 for the majority of the week. He had a bad
Right.
he had a bad Sunday. He had a bad Sunday. I'll show it to you. On Sunday, he pitched to, I think it was, 5.14 ERA on Sunday.
Wow. That
And
Wow.
is
it was that guy Ben Brown and Freddie Peralta were terrible on Sunday. But
yeah.
before that, it was sub 1. I even texted him at one point during the week. I was like, can your pitchers give up a run? Just one
Yeah.
would be
No,
cool.
I do remember a 20 it was an under 1 ERA over half the minimum. So
Yeah.
he had given up one freaking run over the first 21 plus innings.
Yeah.
It
It
was
was I couldn't compete with it. I mean, even for a while, I was humming around, 305 or so, but it didn't matter.
oh, and your ERA would have clobbered mine and Frank's this week, Jason.
Yeah.
So I say it's sometimes it has nothing to do with your team. It's the matchup. It's who you run into. The dude also batted 263. Like, even that's kind of challenging. Like, you have to have a pretty strong offense. You can't be bad offensively. And
Right.
unfortunately, your 234 couldn't match up. But on the pitching side, Jason, you had no chance. And Henry going for it here on Sunday, trying to pitch those guys to catch you in innings, to catch you in strikeouts. You feel bad that Henry wasn't even able to grab those things that he was going for, and he was willing to sacrifice a beautiful ERA and whip, which going to win those categories anyway. So you don't blame him for going for it, and they get clobbered. But Jason, you usually do win innings. You usually win strikeouts. So I think you got to feel good that you were able to at least not get those taken from you. That ends up being huge
Yeah,
potentially.
definitely.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. For Jason on his bench this week, Benjamin, he goes 10 for 25.
Oh man, I should know this. Well, that's not very good, Jason.
No, it's probably my worst bench of the year.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, you got to think you could grab a couple of these offensive categories. I'm going to guess there's some counting stats that are going to matter. We know on base percentage. I'm stalling right now. 450.
400.
Idiot. Why didn't I just simplify? I'm sorry, guys.
Simplifying. Yeah, it's simplifying. 2 for 5.
Oh my God. 2 for 5.
Yep.
God
2 runs, a double, a homer, 6 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, and 8 strikeouts. The 2 runs certainly play. The 6 RBIs also play. The 6 RBIs a little bit harder to get in, to get to the, what is that, 4 you need to tie, 5 in order to get there.
Yeah. And it was like half of them came on Sunday. It was Jackson Churio. I benched him on Sunday, and he's a 3-run home run.
Yeah, there you go.
Guy's been dreadful all week, so I bench him, and that's what happens. So
welcome to owning Jackson Churio. Like,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Pain in the ass.
Also welcome to the bigs in fantasy baseball. I mean, not you personally, Jason,
Right.
obviously, but I'm just saying, like, yeah, guy's just horrible all week. Why the hell am I going to start him on the most important day of the week?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, your moves this week. You hit all 10 here? We added Alex Kirilloff 1 for 4 with an RBI and a strikeout. Heimer Candelaria 1 for 3 with a solo bomb, and Jose Ruiz for a clean relief appearance, dropping Michael Busch. You added Jalen Beeks for a clean relief appearance, dropping Jose Ruiz. You added Frankie Montas, 6 innings, a loss, a bomb, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts, a 450 and a 133 against St. Louis, dropping Kirilloff. You used your waiver claim for Jamison Tyon, 6 innings, a walk, 4 strikeouts, a 450 and a 117 in Milwaukee, dropping Kodai Senga.
Yeah, I had to. He keeps getting setback after setback after setback, and with all the other injuries I'm carrying, I couldn't afford to carry him any longer. So another busted trade, but it is what it is.
That's exactly what I was thinking. I was thinking you wish you had that trade back now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I got Matt Strom in that deal, who I'm still very happy with. He hasn't given up an earned run. I still don't think he's given up an earned run since his first outing of the year. So I'm happy with Matt Strom. So like I'm okay. We'll see what happens with Senga.
You dropped Jalen Beeks for David Hamilton, 0 for 2. Dropped Luke Raley for Mark Vientos, 1 for 4 with a strikeout, but he's having a great game tonight.
Yeah.
You dropped Frankie Montas for Cody Poteet, 5 innings, a win, a homer, a walk, 6 strikeouts, a 360 and an 080 against San Francisco. Dropped John Schreiber and picked up Andy Pajes, 1 for 3, a walk, and a strikeout. Your MVP this week, Francisco Lindor. Yay! 357 with a 400, 4 runs, a double, 2 homers, 5 RBIs, 2 steals, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, and an error. The least valuable hitter is Jorge Mateo, 083 with a 133, a run, a double, 2 RBIs, a walk, 3 strikeouts, and a trip to the concussion IL because he got beamed in the back of the head with a bat while leaning over in the on-deck circle, and Cedric Mullins didn't see where the hell he was swinging the bat.
Yeah. Thanks a lot, guys.
Whacked him right in the head.
Yeah.
The Cy Young this week is a guy that Jason and I discussed in trade conversations, Chris Bassett. 10 innings, 2 wins, a walk, 14 strikeouts, a 270, and a 140 whip. The Cy Young goes to Jared Jones, who had a 4 1/3, a loss, a bomb, 2 walks, 2 strikeouts, 1038, and 162. Jason, you're hanging on to that last trade like it has, like your death grip is on it, and you need to do something.
Yeah.
I'll say, is it gonna be some sort of big star that you're gonna move off of the team and try to change superstars, or is this?
Probably not, because I don't really have superstars to deal at this point. Unless somebody wants to take a shot on, Mike Trout coming back, or Edwin Diaz returning to form. But so we'll see. I don't know. I don't know what it's gonna look like. We still have a couple of months to figure it out. So, but this week was this was a weird week. Like, I mean, Henry gets 2 relief wins on Monday. Like, that set the tone. And then on Tuesday, Ben Brown and Freddie Peralta in the same game combined for 21 strikeouts, just the 2 of them. So like I ended up getting the strikeouts, but like I had to work for it, and he got them like all in one game. In one game, Diaz goes down on Wednesday. On Thursday, Brian Hudson gives up 2 homers in relief and still gets the win. Like, that's why, like, wins. I hate the win category. I really, really hate the win category, because that guy did not deserve to get a win. And it's and that was the decisive win basically in the matchup. So, tough week, but I'm how I am. I'm not gonna quit.
Not giving up now.
No.
Not giving up now. You're only 9 weeks in. We've still got a little under 2/3 of the way to go. There's plenty of time left. Anything can happen. Anything can change your fortune.
Yeah. I gotta. Sorry.
No. Go ahead. It was good.
Listen. Firstly, Jason. First thing is just finding a way to grab a win. However you can do it. 3-6 is not that big of a deal, and that's what Jason is at this point. Over those 9 weeks, it's 3 wins, 6 losses, and that's why it's never really that. It's taking a win or taking a loss. Like, you could be taking these losses 11-9, 11-9, 11-9, and it doesn't really matter that much as long as you get the big win. It's losing 4 in a row, find a way to get a win because you're on a streak of losing, and then the losses that you've taken. It was those two that began this losing streak, 14-4 to Joe, and then 18-2 to Mike Haber. That's a 26 stat swing. It's really, really, really tough. I mean, 32 losses over that point. You got to start there. Like, find a way to just get one more than, or if you're not going to win, if you're going to continue that losing streak, lose one close, lose one by 1 or 2, and then find a way to get the big win when you finally can. But you're definitely not out of it, man. You're not dead and buried. That group with you, Lebo, Frank, not dead and buried. No way. I believe it's something like 26 out of a playoff spot. That's plenty of time. I mean, we're not even halfway through here, and we know that there's such things as second half runs in the bigs, even though a second half is still bigger in a baseball season. Our 11 weeks is a long time for another team to make a run. We know there are going to be teams like a Mike Mazzetta in 2021 or a Brian Lebo in 2021. Neither made the playoffs, but did rattle off like 6 or 7 weeks in a row of W's. So it's certainly not time to concede for these guys. It's certainly not a time to concede for mostly anyone in our league. Just got to keep grinding it out, man. That's what it feels like.
I'm playing you this week, so if you want to stop that losing streak, that'd be cool. And I will just say I'm the lucky guy that gets to face Joe and Mike back to back, not once but twice this year. So,
oh boy, the schedule. You upset the schedule gods this offseason.
I did. I don't know what I did, but they are not happy with me.
The schedule god is disappointed in you, and
literally finishing the season against Joe and Mike back to back.
That's not fun. That's not fun at all.
No.
You know what was fun? Getting a win over Jay Ferraro. That's what was a lot of fun this week. Getting another hard-fought, really competitive fucking win over Jay Ferraro this week. 11-9 is the finish. Going in, it was 10-10, so I'm happy to come out 11-9. It was 12-8 up until the final pitch of the final game of the week. I digress. We'll get to that in a moment. On Sunday, I had a 24-tick batting average advantage, and Jay overtook me. And I knew it was going to happen. I believed all week that my Monday and Tuesday would carry me to a good batting average. Okay, Harrison Bader makes the catch at the warning track. I was really, really concerned about that. I had a really good Monday and Tuesday batting average wise, and it carried me most of the week because my team is not good in batting average. I don't have a team that is going to hit well in batting average so far this season. It's the Kyle Schwarber effect. I guess I'm hitting about 235, 240 at best. That being said, Jay overtook me on Sunday, took batting average. He had a 2/3 of an inning lead, and I overtook him on that. And he had a 9 strikeout advantage, and I took that from him. So 11-9 is the final. Jay wins by
if you want to know, your total batting average this season is 232.
232. I just looked at it too.
Which is 3 points worse than this guy.
dead last and 15th for our two co-hosts. Where I creeped mine up. I batted 286. I led the week.
Yes.
I led all managers with batting average this week. And I crept a little bit closer to Adam now. He's batting 274, number 1. And I'm at 270 at second place. So it's very interesting. We got 2nd, 15th, and 16th today on the show.
Very nice. Very nice. 232. Good God.
Yeah.
All right, Jay wins by 1 tick on the ERA and 8 ticks on the WHIP.
Wow.
I won by a stolen base, 2 strikeouts by a hitter, a save, 4 strikeouts by a pitcher, and 4 relief appearances. We tied in home runs by a batter. Jake Diekman closes out the game for the Metropolitans. We win 8-7.
Boy, oh boy,
Just squeaked that one out.
this team.
For me on my bench this week, Benjamin, it is a 6 for 30.
Oh, thank God. 200.
Very nice. 4 runs, a double, a homer, 3 RBIs, a steal, a walk, and 4 strikeouts. The home run came on Sunday. I had the choice to play either Edward Julian or Zach Geloff, my two just absolute knucklehead second baseman who can't do anything. And of course, Julian goes 0 for 2 with, I think, a run and a walk, and Geloff hits a home run, and that would have won me that category. Oh well,
Julian is heading to the minor leagues.
he is. He's getting sent down across the river to St. Paul, Minnesota, to play for the St. Paul Saints. Great, it's awesome. It's awesome.
Which in the process brings back Royce Lewis.
Oh, that's why they made the move. Okay, Very nice. Well, congratulations on getting that guy back.
Thanks.
For my moves this week, all relievers. Genesis Cabrera gives me a clean relief appearance with a walk, dropping TJ McFarland. Added Michael Grove for a clean relief appearance, dropping Caleb Ferguson. Added former Met Jorge Lopez. I took the loss in that game.
That was a fun
18
one.
and a 3 with a relief appearance. Way to go, Jorge Lopez. I dropped Genesis Cabrera. I added Phil Maton for a clean relief appearance, dropping Jorge Lopez. Added Nick Martinez, who gave me 2 innings in relief on Sunday with like 3 or 4 strikeouts to help me out get over Jay's strikeout total. Dropping Phil Maton. Added Keegan Egan for a clean relief appearance, dropping Lars Nootbaar. And then I dropped Keegan Egan on Sunday. I used 6. Yeah, that sounds right. 6.
What?
Yeah.
Joe Schubert using 6 ads in week 9 in a year where there are only 10 ads. Boy, this league has changed over 1 year, huh?
It's an amazing season, huh? It's an amazing, amazing season. What if I told you that my MVP this week is Kyle Schwarber with the 333 with a 478 on base percentage? 3 runs, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, 2 stolen bases, 5 walks, and 5 strikeouts. Yes.
Yeah, go Phillies. You sure you don't want to trade him to me?
I'm positive.
Okay.
I'd much rather send you George Springer for Edwin Diaz last week. Now I don't want to do that deal at all.
No. That would have been a good one to use your last trade on. I even think that would have been good now, Jason. Edwin Diaz is doing nothing right now.
Yeah.
Nope.
My least valuable hitter this week is Zach Geloff, a 118 with a 167, a run, a double, a stolen base, a walk, and 6 strikeouts. And obviously the home run on the bench on Sunday as the only guy I needed to bench. My Cy Young this week, how about Gavin Stone? 12 innings, 2 wins, 2 walks, 13 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.75. Man, I pitched so well, and I lost ERA on the final out of the game because Jose Alvarado came in for what was it, the 9th or the 10th?
Yeah, because it was a tight ball game.
Yeah, and he gets the 3 outs, and the Phillies win the baseball game. And
no, the Cardinals win the baseball game.
Am I remembering this wrong?
Yes. In fact, he didn't just, yes, he got the 3 outs, but he basically did give up a home run. They call it a foul ball. That thing went over the foul pole. So
yeah, it did.
Jay Ferraro gets kind of lucky that thing was initially called a home run and eventually that it was called a foul ball, and eventually also confirmed. They even looked at it and decided that it was a foul ball, but that was huge for Jay Ferraro. He takes the loss anyway, but 12-8 becomes 11-9 so late on a Sunday. And it's that Sunday night stat, and Jay grabbed it. And I can't wait to get into this matchup, but let's keep going.
Yep. Jordan Montgomery's my Cy Yuck. 4 innings, a loss, 3 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 1350, and a 3. For Jay on his bench this week, Benjamin, he goes 4 for 18.
Oh man. Two 235.
222. 3 runs, 2 homers, 4 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. 2 homers, back-to-back days, the 29th and 30th. Yeah, no, that's where they are.
Yeah.
For his moves this week, he used 9 of them, including a trade on top, as he sent Randy Arozarena away and got Justin Steele, who's threw 7 shutout innings the day he got him. I was so mad about that. I was very upset with Frank about that. And an 0 for 3 out of Ian Happ with a strikeout. He added Jacob deGrom, which ends up being a wasted move because he dropped him later in the week. Dropping Hunter Strickland. He added Aaron Bummer, who never came into the game. Dropping Yoshida. He added Jesus Sanchez over 4 with a strikeout for whatever a Wensil Perez is. He added Jacob Young over 3 for Jesus Sanchez. He added Wensil Perez back after the bell on Wednesday for Aaron Bummer. He added Taylor Saucedo, who was bad in a relief appearance for Wensil Perez. So that's another wasted ad.
Yeah.
Hunter Strickland gets added it back for Taylor Saucedo. Ty France 0 for 3 with a walk and a strikeout for Jacob deGrom. And Dennis Santana, who was bad in his relief appearance for Ty France.
And by the way, Wensil Perez is now back on Jay's team again today.
This is the 3rd time he's added him in like a week and a day. That's amazing. It's amazing. His MVP this week is Jose Ramirez, 348 with a 423. 8 runs, 4 doubles, a homer, 5 RBIs, a steal, 3 walks, 2 strikeouts, and an error. Just absolutely wore me out this week. His least valuable hitter is Ian Happ, so at least you traded for that guy. 143 with a 250, 2 runs, a double, a homer, 5 RBIs, a walk, and 5 strikeouts. That's not a terrible week, but the 143 certainly sucks. Did he hit a grand slam? That's why he has 5 RBIs.
And he benched a homer earlier in the week, I think. On the 29th, he benched a homer from him too.
Mm-hmm. The Cy Young, I'm giving to Bryce Miller because he just absolutely punked me on Sunday. 12 innings, 2 wins, 3 walks, 15 strikeouts, a 150 and an 092. But Justin Steele also had 12 innings and 13 strikeouts and an 075. So he was great too. The Cy Yuck is Shota Imanaga. Holy shit, this guy's human. 4 1/3, a loss, 2 bombs, a walk, a strikeout, a 1454, and a 208.
Yeah.
Benjamin.
Like by far the worst start of his career.
No doubt.
No doubt. Unless, I don't know what he did prior to this. I also think Ranger Suarez finally showed some lights of being immortal, because he only went 2 innings and
he took a comebacker off of the arm and had to leave due to a bruise. So we'll see if he's able to make his next start. Benjamin, what'd you see here, my friend? Dive into this thing for me.
This is, and I know we have another matchup to talk about that was really, really incredible, but this by far is the best matchup of the week. You mentioned you had a great Monday, Tuesday, still lost batting average. And only in the bigs, because if this was a regular 5-by-5 league, Jay wins this week 5-4 with 1 tie, the tie being home runs. He wins batting average and ERA and whip and runs and RBIs by 11 and still loses the week. He loses stolen bases by 1. He loses saves by 1. Jay's the save master right now, in my opinion. To lose that anytime for him, it's surprising. He takes average, but Joe takes walks and on base percentage. He doubles Jay in walks, 14 to 28 in favor of Joe. This week and this particular matchup was crazy. It is just so unbelievable to watch the competitiveness of two of the best day-to-day managers I have ever seen and watch you guys duel it out. Joe, you had a 2.60 ERA and lost. You had a 1.15 whip and lost. It's astonishing. The fact that you're batting 232 in this league right now is astonishing. And you put up the Monday and Tuesday, and you still win on base percentage and walks the way you did. The stats that you win by 1, the fact that you guys tied home runs. Jay had an important benching that really could have helped him. You guys mentioned it earlier when you were mentioning his bench. Like, this was an amazing, amazing matchup. It's a shame that we only get it once this year, unless you guys meet in the playoffs like in 2021. This was just like 2021. Like, this is like incredible stuff. It was just such a real chess match. And if you're not in this league and you haven't been there or experienced it, you're not going to appreciate it the way we do. But day by day, each day had a different story. And it was just, as someone that was your roommate and watching it every day and discussing it, the ebb and flow and the highs and the lows, it's so awesome. And I believe that Jay, and I'm sure you guys can agree, it really feels like we're in the middle of a grind here. We are really in the middle of a special season.
This has been an incredible week for me. It was really difficult for me to gain any kind of traction as in opening up a lead. Neither one of us really opened up too much of a lead. It was 11-8, I think, was the biggest lead we saw here. Maybe a 12-8 at one point, but it was an incredible matchup, and I tip my cap to Jay and give all the credit in the world to him. It was amazing.
Now Jay is winless in 4 weeks. He was winless in 3. You had a 2-week losing streak going in. I had a 3-week losing streak, as did Frank going into this week. Just so many weird things and so many storylines going in and coming out. It's just beautiful to watch.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's dive into the final matchup here and put a bow on this one, gentlemen. It is going to be Cody Piatt taking on Kostas Paragios in a 10-10 tie. On Sunday, going in, it was 11-8 in favor of Kostas, comes out 10-10. RBIs were tied, and Cody took that. Kostas had a 3-tick batting average advantage, and Cody took that. So, again, 11-8 going in, 10-10 coming out. Close categories, Kostas wins by 3 runs, 2 wins, 2 losses, 2 saves, and 4 relief appearances. Cody wins by 2 doubles, an RBI, 5 ticks on the batting average, an inning and a third, a walk by a pitcher, and 5 ticks on the whip. They tied in triples with 1. For Kostas on his bench this week, Benjamin, you're going to love this one. 4 for 10.
Nice. Okay. That's an easier one to simplify. Not that the other one wasn't, but anyway, 400.
Perfect. 2 runs, a homer, an RBI, a walk, 4 strikeouts, and an error. The home run came on Sunday. It's Jose Caballero on the bench. It's a solo home run, which would have given him the RBI he needed in order to tie that category.
Yep.
9 moves used this week. Starts with Kybert Ruiz, 2 for 4 with a run and a walk, dropping Travis d'Arnaud. He adds Buck Farmer for a clean relief appearance, dropping Aroldis Chapman. Adds Simeon Woods Richardson for 5 innings, a win, 2 walks, 4 strikeouts, a 360, and a 1 against Kansas City, dropping Patrick Wisdom. He adds Alex Faedo for a clean relief appearance, dropping Ryan Fernandez. He adds Andrew Chafin for a not clean relief appearance. dropping Buck Farmer. You almost got me, Jason. You almost got me. You almost got me. He added Miguel Andujar, 1 for 5 with a run and an RBI, dropping Chafin. He adds Lucas Sims, who throws a clean relief appearance, dropping Miguel Andujar. He adds Michael Lorenzen, 6 1/3, a win, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts, nothing earned, a 111 whip in Miami, dropping Luis Matos, and finishes it off by adding back Miguel Andujar, 0 for 4, dropping Lucas Sims. Again, he used 9. His MVP this
Miguel Andujar has been really good this season when he's not been on Kostas' team.
Really?
Yeah, I'm tracking this, and like he picked him on the 30th, 1 for 5 with an RBI. Picked him up yesterday on Sunday, 0 for 4, but he's been really good otherwise.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
that's amazing. His MVP this week is Julio Rodriguez, with a shout out to Christian Yelich. But Julio Rodriguez, 346 with a 393, 4 runs, 4 RBIs, 3 steals, 2 walks, 8 strikeouts. Winning steals by 10 is quite ridiculous, or by 6 is quite ridiculous with 10. But Julio would have gotten you close by himself.
Yeah.
The least valuable hitter is Spencer Torkelson, and unfortunately, Mr. Torkelson did not get a hit this week. He struck out 9 times, and this morning got his walking papers down to wherever the AAA affiliate of the Detroit Tigers is. Perhaps the Toledo Mud Hens. I don't know.
That sounds right. Yes.
It might be right.
Yeah.
The Cy Young is his teammate, Tariq Skubal, 7 innings, a win, a walk, 8 strikeouts, nothing earned in an 0.57. The Cy Yuck is Kyle Bradish, wherever he is.
Hi, Jay.
Hi, Jay. Good job. 2 2/3, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, a 1688, and a 375. That was a great trade for Jay. As for Cody this week on his bench, Benjamin, he goes 7 for 38.
Wow. Okay. It's a good job by him, and I will guess. Wow, this is hard, guys. 2. No. It's a 1. It's a 184.
Yeah, he nailed it.
Nailed it. On the last one. Beautiful.
Drilled it. 4 runs, a homer, 6 RBIs, 5 walks, and 8 strikeouts. The 4 runs would have played, otherwise nothing else does. He used all 10 ads this week and a trade. Gets Jordan Alvarez for Ellie De La Cruz. Jason, I want your thoughts on this one.
Well, and we'll see it in the second half of the program also, but yeah, I like this move for Cody. And I think we talked about it with Jay last week too, that like this just makes so much sense for Cody. I love it. I even texted Cody congratulating him on this trade because yes, Ellie is he's a game changer. He's dynamite. The runs, the steals and the power. But it's a mixed bag with the strikeouts and the errors, and he was awful this week. Jordan Alvarez was really good this week, and he fits so well on this team for Cody. I think this is a slam dunk for Cody.
Yeah.
Ben Nisman, are you echoing?
I do. In fact, it's funny because one thing you think of with Ellie De La Cruz is steals. Jordan Alvarez stole 2 bags this week, and you're not. Firstly, he lost by a lot anyway, which is unfortunate because we said that the score was 10-4. And he's not really, and Jordan isn't going to do that normally. And also Cody would have beaten a lot of managers with 4 steals. It's not really what you're asking from Jordan Alvarez, but dynamic player. And I'm not going to say that's a slam dunk for Cody to do it. It really depends on the team and the flexibility and what you need. Ellie De La Cruz does play 2 positions versus Jordan, who only has left field. but I just thought it was a really even trade. It was really cool. It's just,
Yeah.
hey, I need this on my team. Well, I need something different. I don't really need an outfielder, says Brian Lebo. And there's your trade. And that was pretty cool. That was pretty cool to see.
That's exactly it. Cody has Gunnar Henderson, who plays the same exact positions as Ellie De La Cruz, so he could figure it out without having him around. He left field. We mentioned last week, left field is a black hole for Cody, especially with Corbin Carroll just not doing anything. So this shorts up that outfield for him.
I think this really pushes Cody toward playoff material, especially balancing that team the way Jason just described. As for Brian Lebo's side, getting Ellie De La Cruz, we'll talk about it more when we get to that matchup on the other show. But I think in a vacuum, I would want Ellie De La Cruz more. But I think it fits Cody's team, and I think it fits Lebo's team, you know, incredibly well the way they structured this, the way they came to this agreement.
Yeah.
Furthering Cody's moves, he drops Casey Mize for Dylan Tate with a clean relief appearance, drops Rafael Montero for Angel Zerpa clean relief appearance, drops Lucas Sims for Colt Keith on a waiver claim, a 1-for-7 with a walk and 2 strikeouts. He drops Tommy Canley and Noelvi Marte for Josh Stamont, who did not appear. It drops Dylan Tate for Jesse Chavez, 2 1/3, 2 strikeouts, an 0.43 whip, and a relief appearance. He drops Josh Stamont for Ryan Weathers on a waiver claim, 6 innings, a loss, 11 strikeouts, a 6 ERA, a 150 whip against Texas. He drops Jesse Chavez for Ryan Jeffers, 1-for-3 with a double, a walk, and a strikeout, and adds Masataka Yoshida to his IL. He drops Wyatt Langford for Rafael Montero, a clean relief appearance with a strikeout, and drops Angel Zerpa for Hunter Brown, 6 innings, 2 homers, a walk, 7 strikeouts, a 450 and a 1 against Minnesota. His MVP this week, welcome to the team, Yordan Alvarez. We talked about it. 385 of the 429 on base, 3 runs, a double, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 2 steals, 2 walks, and 2 strikeouts. The least valuable hitter, his teammate, Yainer Diaz, 167 with a 167, 4 strikeouts, and an error. The Cy Young is Luis Heel, who had himself a hell of a week. 8 innings, a win, a homer, 2 walks, 9 strikeouts, a 113 and 050. And the Cy Young goes to Taj Bradley, who's no longer on the squad. 3 1/3, a loss, 4 bombs, 3 walks, 3 strikeouts, a 24.30 ERA, and a 360 whip. Gross.
Yeah.
Gross. But we get a tie out of these two, and these two really they're really going to be in this dogfight to the end here. And this is one of those matchups that's fun to watch the first time you see them match up. And then see, perhaps later in the year or in the playoffs, if they match up again, what changed, what's different, and what they've learned from facing each other. Benji, what'd you see here, my friend?
I feel like though maybe we're talking about something a little bit different if the trade isn't made for Jordan Romano and of course Kostas getting Bradish in that deal. He loses whip here, 1.22 to 1.27. So Bradish could have been anyone else, and he potentially wins this matchup. And that's what's kind of crazy about trades is that sometimes, not to mention also innings, very close, by the way, less than 2 innings from winning that. But yeah, like you said, 2 guys that are grinding it out. Kostas having a tough year in general, but only 9 under 500. So right there, basically right there, you're 9 under 500 before we're even halfway there. You're in the hunt. You're trending well. Cody having an incredible start here, 14 over 500 in his first season with the Bigs. I mean, that's just cool. Like it's just awesome that he's been able to sustain that in this league with this kind of competition. And Kostas not having that great of a year, can still help the league out a little bit by cooling down Cody to an extent and not getting him that W. So I say, in so many ways, this was such an awesome week. The fact that Josh doesn't kill Ari. Ari kind of hangs in and helps us out a little bit. Adam doesn't kill Michael Sherman. Michael Sherman loses, but still kind of hangs in there a little bit. So obviously, it's special. Like right now, it's just been special, and this is just another awesome matchup. And we had so many this week.
No doubt, my friend. We had an unbelievable matchup this week between these two, an unbelievable set of matchups this week. Everybody really played to the middle. I mean, we don't have that many big blowouts this week. The biggest I think we've got is a +6
Yeah.
from Bobby Russo
Yeah.
over Jimmy Dunlap. And we'll talk about that next show. Are we all coming back on Wednesday? Do we want to do managers of the week then instead of now?
No, let's do it now. Let's do it now.
Okay. All right. Who do you got at number 3, Benji?
Yeah, so obviously we talked about how he wasn't able to catch strikeouts or innings, or how he probably shouldn't have played Johan Rojas on Sunday night, but Henry Collins, he still played incredibly. He's him being on a streak, it doesn't really matter for this week, but what I do acknowledge is 1 run over 21 winning 21 innings, only giving up 1 run. He's the guy that decided which pitchers were going to be pitching that day. That was Henry's decision. So that has to be acknowledged for me. So that's why I give him number 3.
Jason Ashby, who you got at number 3?
He is absolutely my number 3 as well. I saw it firsthand, and he did he only made 3 moves. He only made 3 ads, but like they were the right ads for him, and he didn't need to do much else. Sunday was a little bit questionable, so like that's probably why he's at number 3. But he is a tough customer, and he's going to be right there in the thick of it all season long.
Clean sweep for me as well. Gentlemen got him at number 3 as well with a 13-8 win over Jason. Good job, Henry. Number 2, Ben Nisman. Who you got at 2?
Joe Schubert. I mean, the fact that you lost all those stats and still won the week. The fact that Jay grabs that Sunday night stat from Alvarado, flipping ERA by this much, you still win the week. The fact that if this is a 5-by-5 league, you lose 5-4 with 1 tie, you still win the week. Joe Schubert, you grinded the hell out of this week. One of the best weeks we will see all season long, and you're at the winning end of it, mister. You are number 2.
Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. And by the same token, I'm going to give you number 2 this week with your win over Frank. Not as big as you would have liked, not as big as it was during the week, but the score doesn't matter until Sunday when you know what you're playing for. Words to live by from Ben Nisman. Still a good win. Keeps you at the top of the heap here. Keeps you in contention, and dumps Frank just a little bit further down the mountain, which is unfortunately not where we want to see him. But he's a dangerous manager, so when he's down toward the bottom, you feel a little bit safer with him down there. Jason, who you got at number 2?
Ben, I really, 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 really wanted to give it to you, but I have to give credit. We didn't talk about him this episode, but Bobby Russo, you mentioned, Joe, that he had the biggest variance win of the week. He's in 3rd place. He put the smackdown on Jimmy Dunlap. The offense was just ridiculous this week. So I have to give credit to Bobby Russo.
Yeah, he's going to be my number 1, and it's with no surprise. He pitched to a 3 ERA across 54 innings. Was second in the league in batting average and second in the league in on base percentage behind one of my coworkers or one of my co-hosts. Benjamin, you are the number 1 team in batting average. Who do you have at number 1 as your manager of the week?
Yeah, I'm going to echo your sentiments and more. It's Bobby Russo for me. The guy is having an unbelievable year. You guys talked about how his offense was awesome. You guys talked about how his pitching was awesome. How if I told you that he leads our league in walks, 239, and second place is Mike Haber with 225. So he actually has 14 more walks than second place. And how about this? He's in second place in on-base percentage. It's 349, and he is second with 348. So he could very well overtake and be first place in on-base percentage going into week 11. So this is just an awesome, awesome team right now. It's been lethal for a while, guys. I mean, 4 out of the last 5, 3 wins in a row, and he's starting to separate a little bit. I'm not going to say that he's definitely in, but he's been playing his ass off all week, all season, and he seems to get better, right? Like, he had an awesome year last year. You can argue he's going to the semifinals last year if he has any other opponent but Josh Haber, who had an insane ERA that week. But this is just a really, really good team right now, hitting on all cylinders, pitching well. He's been making incredible decisions all season, and this week was no difference.
Jason Ashby, round us out here. Who you got at number 1?
I've always said that the winner of the marquee matchup of the week should be the manager of the week. And to me, the marquee match of the week this week was Joe versus Jay. And you know, Ben said you grinded it out. It was like watching a really good wrestling match, and you came out on top. So I have to give you credit for manager of the week.
All right. Well, I certainly appreciate that, my friend. I thank you very much for that. Both of you guys putting me on your list. I appreciate that. Guys, I appreciate all of you watching along with us and enjoying this podcast. I will be signing off here momentarily. Ben Nisman, thanks so much for being here with me, my friend.
Thank you as always. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Joe. Thank you to this league. I mean, just to put a bow on what's been going on, how about 5 managers on a Monday today making ads before 7 a.m.? 5 different managers making ads before 7 a.m. And it's just, and it seems like every single day it's somebody different that's making that move before 4 a.m. or before 5 a.m. or at 3 a.m. or 3:05. Mike Sherman made 2 ads around 6 a.m. today or something. It's just nuts. It's just something that I've never seen. The league is in such a good place right now, and I am one proud young man and a very, very happy manager, a happy commissioner, a happy fantasy owner, a happy person. I am so, so grateful for this league right now, in such an incredible place. Thank you so much.
Jason Ashby, thank you so much for being here with me, my friend.
Absolutely. And I'm going to echo everything that Ben just said. This league just keeps getting better and better, you know, every week, every season. And I'm happy to be a part of it. And keeping happy, Ben, because, you know, we'll see what happens next week.
Yeah, we shall see what happens between this matchup of my co-hosts, and we will see. Thank you guys so much for being here with us, listening and watching. Until next time, guys, it's been real, it's been fun, and it is always real fun in the bigs. We'll see you next time.